All right, here we go. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 450. That's right, 450 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast. I don't usually put that "and" in there. Kind of threw me off. I don't know what the hell's going on. I've had 2 beers, so we went to Backyard Ale House a little bit ago. We just got back. We had dinner there. I had two IPAs, 2 pints. I had one. It was called Conehead IPA. That was from someplace up in Vermont, I think. Can't remember the brewing company. It's called Conehead IPA. The other one was called Hopmonger, and that was from Pennsylvania. It was like somewhere down around Philly. Again, I can't remember the brewery. But anyway, that was good. And then we also had, for dinner, both of us opted for the flank steak tacos. I've had them. This might be the 4th time I've had them. Fantastic. They have this big smoker outside. And when you get out of your car, when you park and get out of your car, just near the place, you can smell it. It's like, oh my God, it smells great. They do all kinds of, flank steak and, all the stuff, all the stuff that you can, like barbecue type stuff. But this flank steak taco, fantastic. I'm not kidding. That shit is solid. So it was fun. It was a good time. There was some group in there that was clearly just graduated from one of the local colleges. I'm not sure. Tony's like, what do you think these people? She goes, this isn't just a general. This is like a group of people who know each other. And they're probably like from the same, they all graduate with the same degree, like accounting or something like that. And she goes, what do you think they are? I said, I don't know, nursing? I don't know. She goes, no. I don't think so. I said, why? I don't think they're good. I don't think they're smart enough. I said, how can you know how smart they are by looking at them? She goes, look at that guy right there. I said, well, okay. I said, maybe he's the boyfriend. Maybe the girlfriend's the one that graduated. Well, good point. So we start talking about this stuff, and she goes, they're not good looking enough to be lawyers. I said, you're being very, very judgmental today. She goes, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this thing. I'm trying to deduce what the situation is. And she goes, they're not good enough. They're not good looking. I said, well, I don't know about that. She goes, I said, I don't know how we got into it. Something that spurred. And she goes, we're not good looking. I said, what the hell? What the hell's that? She goes, well, we're not. We're average. We're just average looking. We don't have the good looks that requires to be a lawyer. I said, I never thought of lawyers as good looking. I said, I don't know what the hell you're... I said, what do you mean we're not... She goes, well, have you ever thought of yourself as good looking? I said, not for 1 second. I have no self-esteem. I have zero self-esteem. I have not in one moment of any day of my entire life thought of myself as good looking. I mean, that goes against everything. I said, but I don't think we're hideous. She goes, I didn't say we're hideous. I thought we're average. There's nothing wrong with being average. I said, I don't know about that. I said, well, whatever. I said, that's nice. It's nice to hear. It's nice to hear when somebody says you're not good looking. I said, she goes, nah. She goes, I don't know. We're not. I said, all right. God. Holy shit. I said, where's the beer list? I need to get a second one. What the hell? But anyway, so we're sitting there like trying to judge, trying to come to the... I said, I think I know what it is. I think it's business/human resources. She goes, I think you're right. I think that's what this is. I think it might be just kind of a general business thing. I said, there's an HR component, take a look at these people. Just take a look at them. She goes, yeah, I think you zeroed in on it. It's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. But anyway, so that was fun. We had good times. I don't know. Some of it was a little judgy, but she's not usually like that. It's kind of funny, actually. And then when we left, there was this guy, the smoker, that was outside where they smoke all this stuff. The guy was taking this big huge mound of chicken wings off this giant smoker. He had it on a cart and he was rolling it inside. And I said, "Holy shit, that smells good." He goes, "You guys want one?" And he handed us each one of the chicken wings straight out of the smoker. And we walked across the street to avoid this woman who was selling bracelets and shit. We don't want to talk to her. So we walked across the street and ate those things right by a trash can. Holy crap! I was like, I don't even like chicken wings all that much. That shit was, oh my God. All their food's good in there. And they always have an interesting beer list, stuff I've never heard of. And I know a thing or two about beer. So it's fun. It's a good time. Dogs are in there. They allow dogs in there. I was petting this. I don't know what it was. I don't know what breed it was. But it was a fine little animal. And it's good times. I enjoy doing that. We do that. We were there 2 weeks ago. Probably every 2 or 3 weeks we go in there on a Saturday. Good place. It's our favorite place. Backyard Ale House. I don't know. I still don't know what that crew was that was graduating. They had their own buffet set up back there. Kind of interesting. Never saw that before. I was talking to my dad earlier today, and he just briefly, he called me for something, which he never calls. Whenever he calls, when it said, like when my phone rings and it says Mom and Dad, that's what it says, Mom and Dad, my heart sinks. Oh God, there's something wrong. Something's happened. Somebody broke a hip. There's something happened, you know. And but he was like, I don't know, I can't remember. He goes, my phone's acting up. If you're trying to text me something, it's not working. I said, have you ever rebooted this thing? I don't know what reboot means. I said, do you ever turn it off and turn it on? He goes, nah, I don't do that. I said, well, do it. I said that's probably the problem. He goes, my phone's acting weird. It's not acting the way. I can't take any pictures. I said, I don't know. I said, just turn your phone off and turn it back on. It'll probably take care of it. I said, he goes, I don't know. I don't like to do that. I said, it takes 10 seconds. Just when you get off the phone, just hit restart on the thing. He goes, I don't know. Seemed very skeptical. That's what he called for. But we were talking a little bit, and he was talking about. He goes, I don't remember what we were talking about. I don't know how we got on this subject. He was like, "What? When it was your mother's birthday a few weeks ago, we're in Walmart, and I was over by the greeting cards, and I took one out, and I called your mother over, and I said, here, read this, and it was a birthday card." And she goes, okay. She read it, and she goes, okay. He goes, all right, put it back. It's happy birthday. I said, so you didn't buy the card? You just had her read it in the store? He goes, yeah, it's better than paying $5 for one. I said, okay. I said, that's good. Was she happy about that? Yeah, it seemed fine. I said, all right. He called my mother over in a store and had her read a birthday card from the rack, and then he put it back after she read it and said, happy birthday. I don't know. And you guys wonder why I am the way I am, That's hilarious. That sounds like my dad, though. That sounds classic, actually. Speaking of Dunbar, well, my parents don't live in Dunbar anymore. That's where I was raised. That's where they were raised. My dad was born in Dunbar. There's no hospitals there, by the way. But he was born in the city limits of Dunbar. They lived there most of their lives over the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years they bailed on the place. But, they, for all intents and purposes, Dunbar, West Virginia is where they have lived their entire lives. Now they live in another town nearby. But anyway, the other day I was on that Grok, that AI program. It's attached to Twitter or X. And it's like, I guess it's an Elon Musk. I guess they developed it. It's an AI thing, and it's pretty damn. It's unbelievable. I mean, I've messed around with all these AI things a lot, but this one seems like it's better. But anyway, I just did a simple. I'm not bragging. I don't want to brag here, but I did a simple search on there. I asked it a question, and it said, I wrote. Hang on a second. Let me pull it up here. I wrote, okay, who is from Dunbar, West Virginia? That's what I typed into Grok. Grok 3 is what it says. I guess there's 3 versions. I drink some water here. Sorry about that. Who is from Dunbar, West Virginia? It says notable individuals from Dunbar, West Virginia include Jeff Kay, creator of the West Virginia Surf Report, a humor website and podcast known for its comedic take on suburban life. He grew up in Dunbar and often references his hometown in his work. Like, what the? All right, so there's that. Number 2, Derek Pitts, a football player who was recruited by West Virginia University in 2017. He attended South Charleston High School, but is listed as being from Dunbar. That's the second notable person. Third notable person, according to Grok, Benjamin Franklin Gravely Jr., inventor of the Gravely plow, patented in 1916, a significant contribution to agricultural machinery developed in Dunbar. So there you go. Who is from Dunbar, West Virginia? Jeff Kay, Derek Pitts, a football player, played for WVU apparently. I think he was in the NFL as well. I looked it up. I think he was briefly in the NFL as well. And Benjamin Franklin Gravely Jr., inventor of the Gravely plow, patented in 1916. I'm not kidding. That's what it said. That's what it came back as. Tony goes, that's just because it's you. You know, if somebody else did that search, if somebody else did that query, it would come up with something different. It certainly wouldn't include you. I'm like, good Lord, man. Nah, no wonder I don't have any self-esteem. No, I didn't have any self-esteem before I met her. And she's not going to allow it to allow it to change, I can tell you that much. But anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see. Oh, I was talking to Tony the other day about something. She doesn't remember this at all. But I don't know. I remember it clearly. Back when she was, back in the day when our kids were swimming, when they were competitive swimmers, both of them were on this team called the Abington Gators. It's a youth swim team. It starts at age 6 and goes up to 12 or something like that. I don't know when it ends. It's like something like that, 6 to 12, give or take, maybe 14. I don't remember. Maybe it goes up to high school. It might go 6 to 14. I think it does actually. And so both of our kids were swimming in that, and Tony got really into it. She became extremely involved in the thing, right? And eventually she became the president of the Abington Gators. You know, she was running the whole thing, and working full time, by the way. And then at some point, when the kids went to high school, she became the aquatics director at the high school. So she was working full time. She was running the Abington Gators. This is no small thing. This thing had over 100 kids swimming on it. And it was a huge time suck. I mean, she was over there all the time, you know. And she was also the aquatics director at the high school. I'm like, what the? And she knew there was a point in time when she knew everybody in town. I mean, we would go out somewhere. We'd just go to the store or something, or we'd go out, and people were walking up to her all the time, just constant, like she was the mayor, like the mayor of our town. I said, you should just run for mayor. I mean, everybody knows you already. She goes, I don't know. It was ridiculous. But anyway, there was this, this happened one time. One of the other parents who was also involved, I think we zeroed in on who it was, but I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But she said she doesn't remember this incident. But one of the parents took a bunch of pictures at a swim meet. This is when the Gators, when they were, maybe it was high school. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It could have been high school, or maybe it was in the early days of the Gators. But somebody took a bunch of pictures at a swim meet, right? And he sent them out to all the parents. Like, there's a group of parents that are like deeply involved in this stuff. We used to socialize. We got to dinner with these people. She was like schmoozing, glad-handing, kissing babies. She was out there shaking babies. I mean, whatever it is, shaking babies, kissing babies. I mean, it was like almost like a political thing. And so anyway, so one of the other parents sent out this folder, like attached a folder of photographs from the latest swim meet and shared it with the other parents, right? And he was like, took these photos at the swim meet this weekend. Thought I'd share with you guys. All right. So you open the thing up, and the thing has like porn in it. It has like pictures of people engaging in sexual activities. I don't want to shock you people. I don't want to make anybody. I don't want you to need the smelling salts. But there was like nudes, and there was like porn. I was like, and we opened the thing up. We're like, oh my God. And the guy, I don't know, a few hours later, the guy sent an email to everybody and said, I really want to apologize for that folder that we sent out. There was also, it was like mixed. It was like pictures of the swim meet, and then like every fifth one, it'd be somebody, somebody, it'd be like pornography, and it was like mixed in, So it wasn't like he sent the wrong file. The file had porn in it, and it was marked swim meet, whatever, So he was like, I apologize. I don't know. I have 3 boys. I remember he said, I have 3 boys, 3 teenage boys, and clearly they were trying to save something to the computer, and they dropped it into this folder. I don't know. He was blaming his kids. I just remember that, and I remember her sitting at her computer down. She has her own computer out, down here, and I can remember her opening that up, and she's like, "Oh my God, Jeff, come down here, check this out." And it was like pornography. It was like swimmers swimming, and then you click to the next one, and it's like straight up porn. Came from one of the other parents, and I asked her about that today. I said, "Remember that?" She goes, "I have no recollection of that whatsoever." It's like, how could you not remember that? It's like one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. Like how embarrassing would that be? I don't know. He blamed it on his kids. I don't know. Maybe it was his kids, but I don't know. Take another hit off this. That's classic, hilarious. Yeah, I think that's pretty much, that covers everything. I do have 2 calls, however. Came in over the hotline. The first one did not identify themselves. Had to do a little investigative work. I had to become Mannix, and I figured out that it came from Tony in Cleveland. He doesn't identify himself, but I'm almost certain it's Tony in Cleveland. Here it is.
Celebrity lookalikes. Back when in the late 90s when the presidents of the United States of America were popular and I had a shaved head and I was literally half the person I am right now. I was told at a show that I looked like the lead singer. I was like, I don't see it, but whatever. And now, multiple people, multiple times a year tell me I look like Will Ferrell, which I can think of worse things to look like. So I will take it. Anyway, that's all I got. Keep up the good work.
I don't remember, that presidents of the United States of America, presidents of the United States of America. It's the name of a band in the 90s. Had that song. It's lump, it's lump, it's lump. It's in my head. That kind of shit. I think. I don't know. It seems like they had a couple hits. I don't remember. I don't remember what the guy looks like. I looked it up. I had to do a Google search for him too, and looks kind of goofy, but not the worst. I mean, I don't know if he'd be good enough to be a lawyer. No, I don't know. I don't know what he look like, but I don't think that guy's good looking enough to be a lawyer. Like what the? But anyway, and then but nowadays Will Ferrell. I don't know. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. Will Ferrell's. Yeah, he's all right. It's not the worst, like you say, not the worst thing in the world. I remembered another thing that people have told me too. The early days of U2, that guy Adam Clayton, people used to say I look like him too, the bass player in U2. And now, if you look at current pictures of him, I don't look anything like him. But back in those early days when U2 first started, I can see where that. Also, not great. I mean, he's not. I don't know, average, as Tony says. God, she's average. Anyway, thanks. Thanks, Tony, for calling in. I appreciate that. This next call is from our old pal Jason out there in Austin, Texas. Here it is.
Hey, Jeff. It's Jason in Austin. We made a deal with Fat Ass Marcy where she sporadically comes into the office, so I don't have to be around her too much, but she's still around. So that's our compromise. Today's Thursday, and she popped in about 2 hours ago. She had some weirdo with her, like with this Salvador Dali mustache that he had to keep in place with Vaseline, and he's thin and just weird as hell. And she introduces him to everybody. His name is Dale. And when I went to shake his hand, it felt like I was holding a baby's foot. Like literally that's what went through my head. This is a baby's foot. So I let go and looked down because I thought maybe he has, lobster boy hands or something. But no, it was just the way he shook my hand. And it freaked me out to the point that I almost passed out. So after they finally left, and I don't know who the guy is, it's like a brother-in-law or something, but they're real chummy, him and her, and he just follows her around. It's real weird. So I asked the other guys in the office, hey, when y'all met that guy, when he shook your hand, was it weird? Like, could you feel little toes curled up in your palm, or did it feel like a baby's foot? And they all said no. So apparently it's just me getting this weird-ass handshake where maybe right as he's going into the hand, he does like a pinch of salt move, or like he's trying to shove his hand into a little hole and he bunches it up. I don't know what he's doing because his hands look normal, but no, it transforms into a baby's foot when you go to shake it. So I don't know how that guy's going to pan out, what he's going to do. Marcy, Fat Ass Marcy's only there, for a couple hours at a time, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. It looks to me like he's probably going to be a wealth of information. Hope you guys have a good week. Thanks. Bye.
I always love updates with Fat Ass Marcy in them. Those are my favorites. Good old Fat Ass Marcy. That's what the hell. She came in with some Salvador Dali looking skinny guy. some skinny guy with a Salvador Dali mustache that he maintains with Vaseline. What in the living, breathing shit? And his handshake felt like you were, felt like a baby, felt like a baby foot. I don't know, man. I don't know. You ever got into one of those things? I'm like an old guy. I'm like an old man, and I don't know how to do. I don't know how to. I don't know how to do maintain in a civilized world. I mean, I don't know how to do. I don't know how to navigate the modern day. You ever get in a situation where somebody goes in for a fist bump and you don't know, and you get mixed up and you put your hand out like you're going to shake their hands, and then they go to shake your hand, and then then you at the last second change to a fist bump, and then they're shaking your fist. That happened to me the other day. I'm a dumbass. I'm a doofus. I don't know. I'm not jaunty enough. I don't have the jaunty gene. I don't know how to do that. I see these guys that do that shit all the time. I'm like, that's smooth. That looks pretty smooth. I wish I was that smooth. And then the next thing you know, you got somebody shaking your stump. Because you're trying to transition from a fist bump to handshake to fist bump, and then the guy's shaking your fist bump. He's shaking your bump. I don't know, but fat ass Marcy with the baby foot, with the Salvador Dali, the pinch of salt. God. It's like he's like maneuvering his fingers like he's getting a pinch of salt. Oh, my God. It never ends with you, Jason. Thank you for calling. It's awesome. Keep us updated on that. I want to know more about Fat-Ass Marcy's skinny Salvador Dali friend or brother-in-law or whatever. Keep us updated on that. That sounds promising. Like you say, that could be a rich vein of material. Keep us updated and give us a call back. Same goes for you, Tony. I appreciate both of you guys. And the rest of you, if you want to give us a call, you can do it right now. The number, 570-290-8151. Give us a call round the clock. It's just voicemail. I'm not going to answer. You're not going to call and I'm going to say, yellow. That's not going to happen. But it's just voicemails. You can leave a message. And if you don't like the message, if you think I don't want that to be I don't want that to be used in an episode, just send me a message. Say, I don't want to use that. I won't. And I'm not out to embarrass anyone. I just want to it's fun. It's a good time. Let's have fun. So give me a call, 570-290-8151. And if you want 2 of these a week instead of a measly one, I'm talking about episodes. That's what I'm talking about. If you want 2 episodes a week instead of a measly one, you can head on over to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Jeff K. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. Not every once in a while, not every month. That's for suckers. Every week-ish. So do it today if you're so inclined. Patreon.com/JeffK. And surfreportpod.com is the web home of the podcast. Check that out as well. That's where expanded show notes could be found. Links, photographs, all kinds of stuff. So head on over to surfreportpod.com for your value-added service. Starting to struggle. Maybe it's the IPA. Maybe it's the dipshittery. I don't know. It could be a combination of both. But anyway, we're at the end of this thing. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side. Hope you have yourself a fine day. I'll see you. Bye. She was out there shaking babies.